to the Standing Up Baseball Pod, where we talk about your favorite teams and players while we stand. Today we have a really big argument that's been going on around baseball right now, which is between who should really be the AL MVP. Should it be Aaron Judge? Should it be Bobby Witt Jr.? We don't know, but we're going to dive into some of those numbers today and really give you my opinion on who should really be the AL MVP this season. The MVP award can kind of be seen a few different ways based on how you perceive it. So most people kind of perceive it as, the best overall player. So offensively, defensively, base stealing, all around just best player in the league. And that's kind of where this argument stems from, is Aaron Judge is without a doubt the best offensive player in the league this season. But Bobby Witt Jr. is leading the league in WAR with an 8.8 WAR, and Aaron Judge is second with an 8.6. But we know Bobby Witt obviously is a great defender at the shortstop position. So that is definitely something that's going to skew the WAR column. So we're really going to compare these two head to head to really see who stands out in what. And like I said, Bobby Witt Jr. is leading the league in WAR, and Aaron Judge is second. Not far behind, but the third person is Juan Soto with a 7.4 WAR. So there is a pretty big gap between those two that they have. But starting with RBIs, Aaron Judge without a doubt leads the league in RBIs with 111. The second person in the league is Jose Ramirez from the Guardians with 100, while Bobby Witt Jr. is fifth in RBIs with 91. So not a huge difference there, but like I said, Aaron Judge does lead in that column. As we know, Aaron Judge does lead in home runs as well with 44 home runs on the season. Bobby Witt Jr. does have 25, which has him tied for 19th in the league. But Aaron Judge is first, with Shohei coming in second with 39 so far. You're going to notice a very common theme throughout these stats that Bobby Witt and Aaron Judge do lead the league in a lot of columns together. So they're 1 and 2 in some way, shape, or form, which is huge for this argument because they're not only just leading the American League, they're leading all of baseball in a lot of these categories. So moving on to WRC+, without a doubt, Aaron Judge is going to lead in this column. He has a 218 WRC+, while Juan Soto comes in second with a 188. And Bobby Witt comes in at third with a 175 WRC+. So a pretty big gap there. I believe that math, don't judge me, is like 43 WRC+ difference. So pretty big, if I do say so myself, considering league average is 100, so it's a pretty big gap. Now, in terms of slugging, of course, why not? They go 1 and 2. Aaron Judge is first in slug with a 703, and then Bobby Witt Jr. comes in at second with a 614, so that is another really big gap there, but they do come in 1 and 2. And would you guess that in terms of batting average, Bobby Witt Jr. and Aaron Judge come first and second. Bobby Witt Jr. comes in first with a 349, and Aaron Judge is at a 331, which has him second in all of baseball. So this is one of the biggest things with this argument, is they are just so close. I mean, sometimes they lead in certain categories, the other one leads in the other category. So it really is just a massive argument, and we'll get more into the other aspects of the game besides just offense a little later. But that is just one thing that you got to notice, is like they really are just neck and neck in terms of 1 and 2 throughout the entire league, which is really impressive for both of them. So now in terms of on-base percentage, as you could imagine, Aaron Judge leads in this category. He gets intentionally walked a lot, and he gets walked a lot because who wants to pitch to him? I just don't know why you would want to. But he is first in on-base percentage with a 463. Soto comes in at second with a 432, and then Bobby Witt comes in at sixth with a 399. So another thing that Aaron Judge leads in offensively. Okay, now we're going to get into a little bit of where the argument kind of comes from in terms of, is the MVP of a league based on all-around play? So is it stolen bases, defense, offense, the whole package player that you want in for an MVP? And I'll get into my opinion a little bit later, but let's go into stolen bases. As we know, Aaron Judge is not a speed demon by any means. He has 6 stolen bases on the year, which, is what it is, whatever. He's not meant to steal bases. But for someone like Bobby Witt, this does play a big factor in terms of his MVP case, because he has 25 stolen bases on the season. As we know, he's very fast. So that is definitely something that you have to take into consideration here, is that he is producing other ways on a baseball field except just offensively. He's using his legs to create runs, steal bags, all this kind of stuff. So this is definitely huge for his MVP case. And another thing you do have to take into consideration is Aaron Judge this season is the fastest player all time to hit 300 home runs, which is super impressive nonetheless. I don't think it'll really factor into much because obviously that's across 8-year span, but it's still beyond impressive. And just wanted to put that little note in there because why not? But now you got to talk a little bit about defense. So defense is one thing that is huge in terms of an MVP case, because especially at premier positions such as shortstop and center field, these are really big things, especially shortstop being one of the best positions in the league and one of the hardest ones to play. And to me, there are certain statistics that are more important to me, and the one that I really want to hone in on is outs above average. average. So this is obviously outs above average, not much to really explain there. And Bobby Witt is leading all shortstops in baseball with 17 outs above average, with Francisco Lindor coming in second with 13 outs above average. So not a huge gap, but definitely someone that is noticeable. 4 extra outs above average is pretty damn impressive for being a shortstop. So now that is another thing with Aaron Judge that you don't really kind of look at for him. You obviously just want him for your bat. But defensively, he has a negative 4 outs above average. He's only played, I believe, 77 games in center field, so this is comparing him to other center fielders. So with this negative 4 outs above average, he is 53rd amongst qualified outfielders who have played at least 200 innings at center field. So that is a pretty bad number, being 53rd defensively amongst all center fielders in the league. That is a pretty rough statistic, especially for an MVP case. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my opinion because I think it is kind of important to really weigh in on all factors. In my personal opinion, I believe an MVP is kind of your all-around player, the guy that, plays a premier position, does it really, really well, is like I said, Bobby Witt leads all shortstops and outs above average. So these are all things that factor in. He steals bags, he produces power, he hits for high average. These are all really crucial things in terms of an MVP race. But now, on the other hand, when you have Aaron Judge doing things like he is doing, 111 RBIs with over 30-plus games to go is absolutely ridiculous. And he's, like I said, he's leading most offensive categories in pretty much everything, and nobody even wants to pitch to him. When was the last time since Barry Bonds you really seen somebody get avoided and intentionally walked with runners on? You don't really hear of it. And this is why this debate is so crucial, because there's a lot of guys that say, without a doubt, Aaron Judge is the best hitter. He deserves it. 8.6 WAR, doing all this offensively, which really just shows how impactful his offense is for him, because he has an 8.6 WAR with having just very mediocre defense. And Bobby Witt, as we know, isn't leading tons of categories in Major League Baseball, but he has a great glove and he's really producing in other facets. So this is why this argument is so hard, and it really depends on who's voting to really put their votes into who they really think is going to be the MVP. I mean, if I personally had to give it to someone, I think I would give it to Aaron Judge, just because he's doing things you don't see. He's literally putting up video game numbers. 44 home runs while hitting 331. Where have you ever heard of that unless you were playing AAA and MLB The Show? You know what I'm saying? Those are crazy, crazy numbers. And it doesn't take anything away from Bobby Witt. I think he deserves it just as much. But I think if you really had to give it to someone, I would have to say Aaron Judge, because he's just putting up numbers we haven't even heard of in this generation. I mean, we have obviously young Miggy and stuff like that, but what I'm saying is basically you just don't hear of these kind of things, leading all these categories, hitting for all this power, having this high average, walking at an 18% clip. These are all really impressive things that he's doing. I mean, you got to give credit to both of them, because like I said, they have over 1.2 WAR from the guy who's in third, which is Juan Soto, who's another great player. But they just have that big of a gap with the two of them in terms of WAR. That just shows you why these two are definitely the final two for AL MVP. I don't really think it's as much of a discussion of anyone else even being involved when you have guys putting up numbers like these two are. But I am very curious about what your guys' opinion, and try to give me your least biased opinion on whether you're a Yankee fan or you're a Royal fan, whatever the case may be. Try to give me your least biased opinion down in the comments on who you really think the MVP should be, and what are some main keys that stick out to you in terms of what should stand out. And, does stolen bases stand out over defensive play, or whatever you may think? Let me know down in the comment section. But otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in to the Standing Baseball Pod, and we will see you guys when we're talking about one of your other favorite players or favorite teams as we stand. But otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.